Hello and welcome to ADX International, your trusted partner in unlocking the full potential of AWS for your business. You're watching another episode of Last Month in AWS, our monthly series where we break down the latest AWS updates into clear, actionable insights. In today's video, we'll recap the top AWS updates from July 2025. Our goal is to highlight 6 major AWS announcements that matter to developers, community builders, DevOps teams, startups, and enterprises. From developer experience improvements to cost-saving programs and cutting-edge AI infrastructure, we've got you covered. By the end of this quick roundup, you'll know what changed, why it's important, and where to find more details. Let's dive in. First up, AWS has made serverless development easier for developers by adding AWS Lambda Console-to-IDE integration and remote debugging support. Announced on July 17, 2025, this update lets you open your Lambda function directly in Visual Studio Code from the AWS console and debug it live in the cloud. Why is this a big deal? Let me explain that. Previously, debugging Lambda often meant sprinkling print statements, checking logs, or doing multiple deploys to figure out issues. Now you can set breakpoints and inspect variables in real time against the actual cloud environment. No complex local emulators needed. This streamlines the developer workflow, eliminating context switching between the browser and IDE, and can cut debugging time from hours to minutes. Next, let's talk about safer deployments for DevOps teams. Amazon ECS now supports built-in blue-green deployments with one-click rollback. AWS announced on July 17 that ECS can natively orchestrate blue-green deployments, complete with deployment lifecycle hooks and automatic rollbacks. This means you can test new application versions alongside the old version in production and quickly switch traffic if everything looks good, or automatically revert if a problem is detected. Why it matters. Previously, implementing blue-green on ECS required custom scripts or code deploy configurations. Now, it's baked into ECS, so teams can deploy updates faster and with higher confidence. No custom tooling needed. If a new release misbehaves, ECS will swap back to the stable version without downtime, thanks to integrated health checks and CloudWatch alarms. In short, this update minimizes deployment risk and gives ops teams a safety net for continuous delivery. For startups and newcomers to AWS, there's great news. AWS has enhanced its free tier program, offering up to $200 in credits and a 6-month free plan for new customers. This was announced mid-July 2025. Here's what changed. New AWS accounts get $100 in credits instantly upon sign-up, and can earn another $100 by exploring certain services like EC2, Lambda, RDS, Amazon Bedrock, etc. The free tier still includes 30+ always free services, but now you have a flexible credit budget to try out more powerful services beyond the old fixed limits. Now let's talk about why it matters. This update lowers the barrier for developers, students, and small businesses to experiment on AWS without incurring costs. You can prototype and learn using a broader range of AWS services, and only think about payments once you've used up credits or 6 months have passed. It's a friendly boost for innovation on AWS, giving new users more freedom to build and test ideas at no cost. On the machine learning front, AWS introduced Amazon S3 Vectors, which is in preview, the first cloud storage with native vector database capabilities. Announced during AWS Summit Benoit in July, S3 Vectors is a new bucket type in Amazon S3 that lets you store and index high-dimensional vectors like ML embeddings at massive scale with sub-second query performance. Crucially, it can reduce the cost of storing and querying vectors by up to 90% compared to typical solutions. Why is this important? As companies build AI applications from semantic search to generative AI agents, they often need to handle millions of vector embeddings. S3 Vectors provides a cost-efficient, scalable way to manage these AI datasets without running a separate vector database. It's fully managed, up to 10,000 indexes per bucket. and integrates with AWS AI services. For example, it ties into Amazon Bedrock's knowledge bases for retrieval-augmented generation and works with Amazon OpenSearch for hybrid search use cases. In short, S3 Vectors brings vector search closer to your data lake, enabling advanced AI features like image similarity search or document QA with the reliability of S3. Additionally, AWS pushed the boundaries of cloud scale. Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service, EKS, now supports clusters with up to 100,000 worker nodes. This update, announced July 15, 2025, is aimed at organizations running extremely large-scale AI/ML or HPC workloads. To put it in perspective, a single EKS cluster can now span 1.6 million AWS Trainium chips or 800,000 NVIDIA GPUs when using the latest EC2 accelerated instances. This makes it possible to train next-generation machine learning models with trillions of parameters or run massive simulations, all within one Kubernetes environment. Why it matters? By removing previous scaling limits, AWS enables enterprises and research teams to consolidate huge compute jobs into one cluster, instead of sharding work across multiple clusters. Users get unified access to a colossal pool of resources, which improves efficiency. For example, sharing GPUs between training and inference tasks, and allows use of standard tools that expect a single cluster. Even if your team isn't hitting 100K nodes yet, this signals AWS's commitment to supporting the most demanding workloads. It's an impressive engineering feat that ensures the AWS cloud can handle the scale of tomorrow's AI breakthroughs. Last but not least, AWS has released the AWS Builder Center, a centralized hub for cloud developers and IT professionals to connect, learn, and contribute all in one place. Announced on July 9, 2025, what changed? Builder Center combines AWS Developer Center and Community.aws into a single portal, giving users access to trending content, over 600 skill builder courses, and learning programs. It also features Wishlist for submitting and voting on ideas, and allows users to connect with AWS-led events, user groups, and community programs through their Builder ID. Why it matters? If you're building on AWS, this gives you a single point of access to tutorials, labs, events, and community insights. Wishlist empowers users to influence AWS service development directly. The Builder Center nurtures collaboration and accelerates innovation, particularly valuable for startups and enterprise teams seeking best practices and communal knowledge sharing. And there you have it, 6 major AWS updates from July 2025. In a nutshell, we saw improvements across the board. Developer productivity boosts, safer deployments, more freebies for new builders, new capabilities for AI applications, and record-breaking cloud scale. Staying up to date with these changes is invaluable. It helps you and your team take advantage of AWS's latest features and best practices as soon as they're available. If you enjoyed this recap, please subscribe to our channel for more monthly cloud updates and tech insights. And be sure to visit adex.ltd for in-depth blogs, guides, and cloud consulting services to help you leverage AWS to its fullest. Thank you for watching, and see you next month for another Last Month in AWS update.